Hi, Gabriela.
Hi, how are you?
Doing well. Sorry about that. I know sometimes like we're all trying to get access to like the same email or platform within our team, so it could be a bit slow. But thank you so much for being here today. I have some upfront slides I'm gonna share, but then you should be good to share your screen and then go from there. And just let me know if you're not.
Sounds good. Yeah, no, I have my slides ready.
And we're on, just to make sure, crafting culturally relevant marketing, correct? Perfect,
Yes.
perfect, perfect. All right. Let me go here. Sure. Do you see my screen all good?
Yeah, perfect.
One, two, are we at two? We are at two. Yeah. Ready to go.
Ready?
Mhm. Hi, everyone. Happy Monday.
Hi, everyone.
Awesome, awesome, awesome. Just getting a couple people in from the waiting room, and then we will go ahead and get started.
Let's go.
Perfect, perfect, perfect.
Hi, Lorena.
All right, you guys. So we are joined by a very special guest to talk about crafting culturally relevant marketing. I'm gonna hand it off to Gabriela to really introduce herself, dive into some of these really important topics. But just wanted to quickly go over a couple logistics just to make sure everyone is on the same page. And if you have any questions, please feel free to just message me in the chat. So about this series, of course, it's including free workshop and mentorship, micro grants. You're going through the basis. If anything is confusing, please let me know so I can troubleshoot that, during the meeting so we can get you good to go for the rest of the program. And by attending the Zoom, you've already checked in and received credit for the session, so no worries about that. But like I said, if you have any other questions about any other aspects of the basis or start of spring training, feel free to either email me, I'll drop it in the chat, or just drop a question in the chat. Um, you're ready to go. All right, let me admit these last few in the chat. All right, yeah, should allow you to share your screen. Oh, you're on mute, sorry.
Yeah, there you go.
Perfect.
All right. You guys able to see my screen? Perfect. We talked about this. Okay, well, hola a todos, welcome. Thank you for joining me today. I'm super excited to be here. My name is Gabriela, and I'm the founder of Purple Nomad Media. We are a marketing, social media, influencer, advertising company. And today I'm so excited to share my insights on crafting a culturally relevant marketing. As you can see here, I had the privilege of living in a few different countries. I'm originally from Colombia. I was born there, but I quickly moved around a little bit. I spent a couple of months in Peru. Then I moved to Chile, where I spent most of my teenage years. And then I came to the United States to do my college here at ASU. And I loved it, so I decided to stay afterwards. So I'm very passionate about bridging cultures and driving growth and being able to live in different countries and different cultures with different languages has given me a very unique experience and perspective on the importance of cultural understanding. And this multicultural journey that I had has taught me that connecting with people goes beyond just language, just words. It's more about culture, values, emotion, connecting with them in a different level. So, to kick things off, to see if everyone is awake on a Monday, I would love to hear from you in the chat box. So, please share where are you from and what's a food that reminds you of your childhood. Love to see some answers in here just to see if everyone is awake. Oh, Phoenix. Tortillas. That sounds good, Meg. From Arizona, a lot of people from Arizona. Oh, we have from some people from Venezuela with arepas, my favorite. Alrighty. Well, in the meantime, while you guys share a little bit of your favorite foods, I would like to start things off with a little story that I have. When I first moved to Arizona, I went to a Mexican restaurant and I saw tortas. And I was like, that looks delicious. I would love something sweet right now. I was craving something sweet right now. And I said, okay, they have tortas. There was no food description. And I thought I was getting a cake because in Colombia, we say tortas as cake. And then I sat down, I ordered my torta. I was pulled up when I saw a big sandwich on my plate. I was like, oh my God, this is not a torta. This is a sandwich. And that day, I realized that Mexicans actually call torta a sandwich, and Colombians and other, I saw someone from Venezuela saying that they also call it torta as meaning cake or pastel, right? So I wanted to highlight this story because this is kind of like the point of this whole presentation, right? This is exactly what I want to convey throughout, and is that culture and regions and different states and different countries have different experiences, have different background, have different culture, even language, products, all of that. So that's exactly why understanding cultural context is such a key in marketing when you're trying to expand. Oh, people from Chicago. That's awesome. Okay, let me see. How do I? Perfect. All right. So again, that story highlights a very important point, which is culture shapes how we interpret language, products, and even experiences. And just to give a little more context, and probably things that you already know, Latinos make up 90% of the total United States population. And in Arizona, it's even higher. We're at 33%, making it the fourth largest Latino state. And as well, fun fact here is that 80% of Arizona's Latino population is actually Mexican. So now picture me trying to start a cake business, right? Because I'm Colombian, called Tortas by Gabi here in Phoenix. Sounds great, right? But in this cultural context where the majority of Latinos are Mexican, it would be a total disaster to start a company called Tortas by Gabi. It will be a full marketing fail. So, and again, it's because tortas refers as sandwiches in Mexico, right? So it will be a huge misunderstanding here in Arizona. So these are the things that I want to point out and make sure that we understand why it's so important to take into account the cultural context, the market that you're trying to reach, and the language, the slang, all the little things that we have to take into account when we're creating a marketing campaign. And I'm giving you an example, a fake example on a local level, but a lot of big national companies have done this in big markets. When McDonald's decided to reach the market of India, they decided to go with their beef burgers. And this is a no, no, no. Like in India, cows are sacred. So anything that with beef or anything like that, pork or anything, it's a very much like a fail, right? So they had to quickly readjust and create a menu that it was only vegetarian or with chicken options. Yeah, the Chevy Nova in Central America. Nova, yeah, it doesn't go. Exactly, Meg. And this is exactly why we're here and what I want to show you on how to not make these mistakes and how to really understand that doing research is so important when you create any type of campaign. And this doesn't mean that even in a macro level and a micro level, it doesn't matter that you're a big brand or a small brand, or if you're a cake business in Phoenix, all of those we have to take into account culturally what's going on, right? Okay. Sorry, I thought I could. There you go. Okay, so a lot of brands make this mistake, and is that they say, hey, I really want to market to the Hispanic community because we're growing. Again, we're almost 20% of the United States. And they say, like, yeah, just use the same tagline and translate it. Just do a quick Google Translate. And this is often where they fail. Here's a few examples that I have because, oh, sorry, guys. Oh, can't go back. There you go. Sorry about that. Um, so this is where a lot of companies went wrong. Because translation is an important part, but it's not only the only one part of the equation. It's one part of the equation, right? So, for example, KFC had the finger licking good, and in English sounds great, right? But when they translated it to in China, they translated to eat your fingers off. So that definitely was a marketing nightmare. And words really carry a different meaning depending on the cultural context, and just translating a campaign really won't guarantee that it connects, that it's going to work, that it's going to even make sense. Take the iconic Got Milk, right? This campaign by a California milk processor, they decided that they would go and translate the phrase got milk that was super famous here in the United States to Spanish, and they did it wrong. So they called it estás lactando, which means are you lactating? So this type of mistakes just makes the message to go completely wrong. It should have been like either tienes leche, do you have milk, or any other type of translation that really connected with the market. So this type of things is definitely a cultural misstep, and that leads to confusion. And honestly, sometimes even people laugh about it. I don't know how many times we've seen, and if I know I have a couple of Latinos here, but we've seen some translations and we're like, whoa, what are they trying to say there? And we laugh about it, we joke about it. But sometimes it can be very harmful. Like, for example, this Pepsi slogan that is says, "Come alive, you are in the Pepsi generation," which is really good in English, but it was disastrous translation in China because they basically said Pepsi brings your ancestors back to life. And if they do a little bit of research in the Chinese market, you cannot say anything against your ancestors. Like that's is also very sacred. It's part of their culture, the traditions. So things like that we need to take into account when we are thinking about just ChatGPT and or Google Translate anything to reach a different market. So, uh, uh, um. So something that I do in my company is that we do not translate. We do something called transcreation. And transcreation, it's basically going beyond the words, adapting ideas, emotions, and cultural references in your ads, in your marketing, your captions, in your social media post. And the key to transcreating your ad is three things. One, having cultural sensitivity, understanding that meanings can change across cultures, and what works in one culture may be offensive or confusing in another one. The second one is does just don't translate, adapt your message to something that fits the costumes, the values, their slang. And the final thing is that to make sure that after you transcreate your text, that it connects authentically, that is definitely reaching a pain point to your new audience. So again, it's more than just words. It's what are they experiencing? What are the cultural sensitivities that we need to take into account? Okay. And of course, do your market research. And this is something that I do a lot in my company. I've done a lot of Hispanic advertising for companies like Jack Daniels and the American Red Cross. And we always have to put into perspective the taboos when it comes to creating those campaigns, right? So if you ever heard of the American Red Cross, they provide blood donations, right? It's not as easy as translating, hey, go donate today or come to this blood donation and help um, your family or things like that. It doesn't work like that. You definitely have to take into account that Latinos really never were taught to go and donate, that there's taboos, that there's misconceptions, that they think it's dangerous, things like that. You really need to take into account when you're creating campaigns. And this is something that McDonald's did really good in this campaign because they just didn't translate "I'm loving it" into Spanish. They turned it into "Me encanta," right? And then they added in their campaign just like a reggaeton beat. And then in China, for example, where the word love carries a much heavier connotation, they changed it to I like it no matter what you say. So that resonated better with that market. Okay, so I like to always basically say that think of transcreation as a chameleon changing colors to blend into the environment. Okay, so and this happens a lot in United States. We have different communities, minority communities throughout the United States. So something that works in Miami might not work in California. So things like that we also have to take into account. Okay. And what do I mean by do your research? Okay. We want to go the extra step when we're doing our research, right? So, what I do in my company, I use something called a social listening tool. And this is something that um, a lot of scheduling or social media scheduling tools offer. But at the same time, there's also marketing agencies that do that for you as well. And I think it's really important. And if you don't have access to a partner or a social listening tool, just going through your phone and looking up, I don't know, like for example, when I do it with Jack Daniels, like what are the cocktails with whiskey today? Like what are people doing? Just searching on TikTok, on Instagram, on Facebook, and there's a lot of results. And from that, you can take into account what are people saying about the brand, what are the trends, what are the things that, what are the keywords that they're using when it comes to that specific product. So there's a lot of options to do. You also can use Google Trends. And I do this a lot, and this is completely free. Just googletrends.com. And things like that you can use to compare what are the most search keywords regarding a topic, or when you search a specific product, what are the first results? What are the things that people are looking up that you can use to create your ad, and the language that they're using, right? Because if it is trending, most people are using the exact same language to search it, right? So things like that you can use as tools. And again, coming back to being culturally relevant, doing a quick Google search on, for example, if you're doing a holiday campaign, if we're doing today is St. Patrick's Day, right? If we're doing a holiday campaign, making sure like, hey, where does this holiday started? Like, what is the meaning of it? Can my company, me not being Irish, can I participate? All those questions you can ask yourself to make sure that you're having um, a pretty good, effective campaign. You can also check on competitors, right? See how others are localizing. Localizing is another word, basically to means that transcreating with a meaning with your target audience in mind. Um, and if you still have doubts using native speakers, maybe you have friends that, for example, are Hispanic, making sure that they understand what you're saying in the campaign, or just hiring translators and people that know your audience. That can help you out, as well as doing focus groups, surveys. If you have budget to do those, I would highly recommend, and this is something that we do often, just to test with your audience if it is resonating or not. And you can also do A/B testing on Google, on Meta ads. You can also do those. And overall, obviously the text and the wording is very important, but as well as having the right images that aligns with your local audience, it's so important. So any image, any color, any symbol, making sure that we're not stereotyping or generalizing anything, which we've seen a lot um, with some of the big brands out there, right? And making sure that the slang is good as well. Metaphors, things like that. Just always making sure that um, every word that you added to your advertising, you know what it means, right? Okay. Do we have any questions so far? You can feel free to drop them in the chat. Let me know if I'm going too fast, if I'm going too slow. Okay. So what I was telling you guys before is about being market specific. And here's an example of what we did with one of our campaigns is that we were trying to create a carne asada barbecue campaign for one of my brands. And they wanted to do it or launch the campaign in different markets. I know we have someone from Chicago. We were planning in Chicago, in Miami, and in LA, Vegas, and Phoenix, right? And this is the biggest mistake a lot of brands do, is that assuming that all Latinos are the same, right? That you as Latinos are just a single homogeneous group that it's like everyone says the same things, have the same slangs, have the same food, right? Which is obviously a misconception. It's important to understand that subgroups like Gen Zers, boomers are different, that we have regional variations, that in New York and Florida, they're more Puerto Rican, they're more Cuban, and in this side of the United States, they're more Mexican, right? So what we did with this campaign is that we switch the word barbecue depending on the market, right? So in Florida, there's a lot more Colombians, Cubans, so they use asado or parrillada to say barbecue, right? But in the other side of the United States, it's more Mexican, California, right? So we use the word carne asada. And by doing this little tweak, we saw huge results, right? Just and we had a really good positive sentiment response because again we took into account those differences, that dynamic, how various nationalities just barbecue in a different way and they call it a different way. So things like that are very important to make your ad be effective, right? So to make sure that we're still on with me here, what is some slang terms that you think differ um, from different countries, states, things like that? I know another example here in the United States is the way we call soda here. Sometimes it's pop in a different United States, right? Things like that. So straw, yeah, that one's super common in the Latino community, that everything it's different. Pitillo, bombilla, popote, like all of those words is very different. So yes, thank you, Carol. Cold drink, yes, exactly. Pop, sometimes they call it soft drink, sometimes they call it just a lot of people just call it Coke, even though they are not referring to a Coke, which is really interesting. So I'm saying, hey, there's a lot we can do here, but why should you care, or why should I invest my resources into hiring a translator or hiring social listening services, or um, just creating another photo shoot to create a more like better images for the Hispanic community or for the Asian community here, like things like that. Why do I have to expand my resources to get to different communities, right, in the United States? And yes, English is global. Yes, um, probably a lot of people, most of people will speak English. I keep doing that, sorry. But when you're talking about to marketing in the United States, and honestly, in any other part of the world, um, a lot of consumers really prefer to buy from websites in their native language. Actually, 75%. And this is a research um, from marketers in the industry that say that, hey, 40% of internet users would only buy from websites in their native language. So it's very important to recognize that. And if you have a product that makes sense for a different community, or that is broad enough to market to a different community, if you're not marketing to at least your second biggest market, then you're losing money, basically. And everything that we do is to do, to create revenue, right? So I like to think about this Nelson Mandela quote that says, if you talk to a man in a language he understands, that go sorry. If you talk to a man in a language he understands, that goes to his head. If you talk to him in his own language, that goes to his heart. So skipping transcreations, yes, may save resources, but language is very key to reach those consumers and create that connection and that trust, which usually translates to sales, right? And also it's really good for SEO optimization. So if you have a website, if you're doing an ad or something like that, creating that ad in different languages, it will broaden your audience and it will expand your visibility. So more people will be clicking on it. There's more retention. There's been a lot of research on conversion when it comes to people seeing the ad in a different language as well. And again, I mean, one size doesn't fit all, right? So just recognizing that if you have potential for a different market, it's really important that you go and learn about it, do your research, and not standardize your marketing because you might be losing money by doing that. Okay. Oh, I keep doing that. Sorry. Okay. So we talked about a little bit about how to maintain relevance, SEO, some bad campaigns, right? That big brands did. But I also wanted to share my favorite ones. Just people that are doing it right, people that I really like what they did. And then from a business perspective, um, we did some research, we did some social listening with these campaigns, and the results are incredible. Most of them doubled their money, tripled their money just because they did these campaigns in different languages. Okay. So let's dive deep into this ones. We have, I don't know if you guys seen Money Heist or La Casa de Papel. Those were really good. One this started in Spain actually, and they marketed internationally, especially to US audiences. And they changed the name to make it more accessible. And it's a little bit more catchy for English speakers, right? So this is a great example of bilingual content where the title really balances out the cultural recognition, and just to have a global appeal, right? So this is not a word for word translation. Otherwise, it would be the house of paper. And English speaking, we didn't really understand what that means, right? So they took the essence of the show and they translated to a more cultural resonant title for the English speakers. Then we have Cheetos, where they had the huella. And this was really good because the slogan in English was leave your mark, which is a very powerful message about, individuality and legacy. And then on the flip side, having also influencers, and this is something that I haven't mentioned, but having influencers that connect with the audience that you want to reach is super important in today's date with the social media, with the TikToks, with everything. So they had Bad Bunny, they had J Balvin. So those are huge connectors. Those are huge ways where you can take your brand, and even though you don't speak the language or you don't really have full knowledge of that culture, having partnering with someone that does, that really understands it, and that has that likable um likeness, I mean, that have that likeness in your target audience, it's super important. And then we have Buchanan's, and they launched their 200% campaign. And this one is my favorite because they fully understood that duality that a lot of people that are from Hispanic families, but they were born in the United States have, and that they sometimes feel fully Latino and sometimes they feel fully American, and they really navigated those two worlds and created these campaigns to show that people are 100% Latino and 100% American. So that really, it's a great example how a company can create that feeling of belonging without really selling something, right? Like they were unintentionally selling it. So it really resonated deeply with bicultural audiences, and it just didn't just focus on the product. It's just about share experiences, right? And then we also have the Spotify Viva Latino. Um, and I'm giving a lot of, I know we have a lot of Latino people here, but there's for Spotify has a playlist for different communities, and they really have a really good bicultural marketing, and the playlists are really targeted to different communities, and it really appeals to that broad, culturally diverse audience. So it really shows that brands can create something that reflects that bicultural identity and embraces both languages, both cultures without, favoring either one or missing the mark, right? Then we have some do's and don'ts, and this is very important when we are creating authentic content. So again, and I cannot stress this enough, doing your research is so important. And what I mean by this is research values, beliefs, costumes, taboos on your target audience before launching any campaign. Um, a lot of what I've seen is, for example, understanding what Cinco de Mayo is. Like it's coming up, and a lot of brands is like Happy Cinco de Mayo, and they think it's the Mexican independence, right? Um, it's not, right? So things like that we need to take into account. A lot of brands have missed the mark because they just don't do their research. Um, Having to familiarize yourself with the costumes, with the social etiquette, common behaviors that they do, just ensuring that the campaign resonates with your audience is very, very important. And the other side of that is the religious beliefs, right? I was just doing a campaign during Christmas, and it was really important because they were trying to market to a Hispanic community. Um, but they wanted to use the word Christmas on it, right? And yes, most of the Hispanic community is Catholic, but using the word Christmas sometimes can single out different communities within the Latino community, right? So doing recommendations such as just use festivities, holidays instead of saying Christmas, you know? Things like that, it's very important to research, because if you put an alcohol brand with the word Christmas, that can be a problem. Things like that. And not everyone celebrates Christmas, right? So just having that knowledge of, hey, if we use this word, that can go bad. But if we use this different word that is festivities or holidays that is more broad, then that can engage with more people. That could be more meaningful for different people. So things like that is very important. Um, and then just avoiding images or language or topics that are very offensive within a target culture. It's really important to note. Um, and this is a mistake that it's been done over and over and over again with brands, especially with those, I don't know, for example, like um, the Black History Month, things like that. They always miss the mark with things like that. So just making sure that we are representing the community without being too um, unauthentic or ungenuine of what we want to do, right? And the last thing is obviously acknowledging significant cultural events, adapt campaigns to align with the timing and the spirit of the occasion. And then finally, just considering the language, that the nuances and the respected and respecting each one of the holidays and things like that you want to do, it's very important. Reflect diversity in everything that you do, and obviously not generalizing or stereotyping and things like that. And the final thing I want to say here is just not being afraid to ask. Um, I do this every day, but I still, if I have campaigns um, that are out of my scope that I've never learned before, I definitely take the time to ask. Like, I just had a campaign with the Navajo community, and that was a little bit new for me. So just going, um, asking people, going to the place where you're gonna market, and just soak in every single thing that you see. Ask questions to locals and things like that is very, very important. It takes time, yeah, it takes a lot of effort. It could mean money, right? But it's better that getting backlash or being canceled for something that it really missed the mark, right? So I know I have 20 minutes left, so I really wanted to do a little workshop, and I think we are enough to just do it here. But what I want to do is I want to learn a little bit more about what you do, and take a minute to write down your target audience on a piece of paper, what you do, your target audience, or just on your notes app in your phone. And I want you guys to share. It can be in the chat. We don't have to break out in rooms, but I want to share your target audience, what you do, and what is the most strategic holiday or cultural celebration um, that your product, like it makes sense for your product to be advertising. And then I just want you guys to share and see what are you guys thinking, and with all that we learned today, see if we can do some research on what that holiday means, what it represents and things like that. And I put um a couple of ideas here for Cinco de Mayo is coming up, today St. Patrick's Day, things like that would be good. I don't know if we should do breakout rooms. I think we are. Do you guys want to do breakout rooms, or we can just do it in the chat? I don't know what time.
We have about 20 minutes left. Just let me
Yeah.
know if you'd like for me to make breakout groups. I don't mind, but it's up to you.
Yeah, we can do just two and I will jump in. That would be great. Just kind of want to get to know you a little bit more and see if you have any questions, um and see if I can help you create some campaigns and some ideas for your business. I think I wrote down here. Well, actually, we're more than I thought. Yeah. Are you creating them or are we doing it here?
I can create them.
Okay,
I don't know if you want me to create them, but I can create them real quick.
perfect. See some people in the chat. NAR facilitator. That's awesome. Great. And some people are reaching out with direct message. Thank you so much. Thrift store. That's awesome. Well, thank you for the paragraphs. Are you ready with those? Perfect. Now I'm getting some messages here, but it will be good to connect with everybody. Do some a little bit
Okay.
networking. Mm-hmm.
I made three of them. Do you want more than
No,
three, or is three good?
that's perfect.
All right, give me 1 second. Be creative.
Perfect. Sorry, I had a big one there here. Okay. B2C. Still, I mean, still, if you have some businesses that or nonprofit organizations that target a different audience, knowing a little bit about them to pitch your organization, it's super important as well, like doing research with them as well. Oh, okay.
Let me know when you like for me to open
But
them.
yeah, go ahead. I was just reading the chat a little bit.
All right, perfect.
Perfect.
Gonna open them now.
National Make a Will Month. That's interesting.
Only that hurt.
Perfect. I'm gonna jump into those breakout rooms.
Feel free.
Think I can, right? Let's see.
You should be. I can also move you into one and then it's kind of shift you if you're not able to.
Okay,
All right.
perfect. Let me check.
I'm gonna go ahead and you want me to just go
Yep.
ahead and move you into room one for right now, and I'll just move you after like every couple minutes.
Yeah, that sounds great.
All right. Sounds good. Oh, do I need to add you back to a room?
Alrighty. Let's see. I'm gonna
I
share my.
had closed the room, so they have about 60 seconds to join.
Yeah, no worries. I just wanted to get back here so I can share my screen again.
All right, perfect.
Perfect. We're almost done here. I know we have 5 minutes.
About 30 more seconds, and then everybody will be back.
Perfect. Jalita, I had some ideas for you and I got moved. I'm so sorry. I was like, oh, I have some ideas for what you're doing. So I apologize that I can move to another room, but very interesting what you're doing. Perfect. Let me know if everyone is back. I think everyone is back. Okay. I know I have a couple of minutes, so um I heard a lot of people that have a new business that they're starting, a lot of B2B, and there's a lot of things that we can do in terms of not only connecting with a different language, but also connecting with a different community in a different state, in a different location. Because yes, I talked a lot about Spanish, English, Mandarin, English, things like that. But at the end of the day, every single product, every single service has certain nuances, have certain taboos. Like I was telling you guys with the blood donations, not every community like to do that, right? So just making sure that when you're engaging with another company, when you're trying to get a partner, when you're trying to get investors, things like that, doing your research in terms of where did they grew up, what are things that they're usually looking for, doing a quick social media, I call it social media stalking, right? Figuring out who your audience is by simply searching on Google social media, asking local experts, asking your friends that are from different communities, and just making sure that we're building trust. And with everything that we do, just respecting diversity is just going to strengthen any ad, any proposal, any social media post you're going to do. And again, going beyond translation, just focus on transcreation. And this is not only language, again, it's audience, it's culture, it's emotion. Just testing things that you're going to do. If saw someone here um, that has a podcast, for example, things like that, or what are topics that people that listen to you or similar people that listen to you is going to look like. What are they asking? Use Google Trends for things like that. So then you can title your podcast to using those keywords that people are already searching to create visibility for your company. If you're starting, if you don't know what your messaging is yet, if you don't have a mission or vision yet, if you're just starting from zero, I would really encourage you to do some research. And if you have competitors, that makes it a little bit easier because then you can figure out what they're doing good and what they're doing bad, and creating a strategy from their mistakes or just improving what they're already doing, what is working for them, right? So being flexible, adapting, and just evolving throughout your career and your business is really important. So again, marketing is about connection, not only language. And that's basically everything that I wanted to share. If you guys have any questions, please drop in the chat or follow me, text me, whatever you want to do. I'm very open and happy to collaborate and network with everyone. So okay.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Are there any questions? Do you have, I know we have like 1 minute left. Are there any questions from the audience really quickly?
Hi, I had a question.
Yeah, of course.
Oh, Gabriela, I tried to schedule one appointment with your mentoring class, but I think your agenda is really full. I don't know if there's gonna be a date available.
Yeah, I think I'm booked for my mentorship, but you can text me and we'll set up a call, just the two of us. Yeah.
Or what number can I text you or
This one I'll put in the chat, 602-451-238. Mm-hmm.
okay, thank you so much.
How can I make it? Of course, my thrift store to the Mexican community in the okay. I know we have 1 minute and I have some questions. Ruthie, please do text me. I could help you exactly with what you're looking for. Let me see. Oh, would we be getting the recording for this? Do you know by any chance?
Yes, the participants will get all the recordings. And I know we're at time, so
Yeah.
you guys please feel free at as much capacity as Gabriela has to reach out to her.
Yes.
But definitely just make sure to reach out first and make sure she has time. But yeah, we'll send a recording afterwards.
Sounds good. Thank you so much, everyone. And I'm gonna have another one on Wednesday. This time is gonna be in Spanish. So all in Spanish, how to um go from, marketing only to the Latinos in the United States to the broader general market in the United States. So thank you guys. Okay, perfect. Thank you, Elsa. Thank you so much for facilitating. I know that I throw you for a loop with the breakout rooms, but I appreciate it.
Like, just let us know if you need anything with like breakout rooms and stuff like that. That's why we're here.
Yeah,
But yeah, awesome job. I'm gonna go ahead and end this as we're at time, but
yeah.
yeah, see you guys soon.
Sounds good. Thank you. Bye.